Hey guys, Zoidbergenstein here with another of my solo pub tutorials. Today, we're going to take a look at how to take a biolab that's being farmed by another faction and turn it into a chance for you to get some fast score and easy kills. Like so many of my solo pub tutorials before this, I'm going to start with the mosquito. This specific mosquito is set up for my medic, which is why it has ejection seat. Now the fact that I'm using ejection seat means that I won't have decoy flares, so if I start getting locked on, I'm going to have to make a beeline for the point and drop. I'm also using the Banshee because I like to Araxium different weapons. I actually prefer the rotary. Here, I'm looking for the pad that I'm going to hit. I see that the north pad is closer to my spawn and probably where I'm going to see a lot of burster maxes. The south pad will probably be a little bit safer, but you're about to see one of the benefits of using this Banshee. It's very, very strong at dispatching maxes. Now, even though I joke about being the Celine Dion of the sky, I'm really not a very proficient pilot. I'm setting myself up at an angle here where someone could very easily hit me with a decimator or some other rocket and take me out. So when you're doing this, it's better to approach from a horizontal angle and strafe them at a high speed. I come back in and I'm going to try and take down some of these maxes. I line one up, I see the burster max there, and I put those Banshees into him and I get that kill. Instead of sticking around where I might get rocketed, I get right back out of there and I'm going to set myself up for another strafing run. As I come back in, I'm going to look for maxes first. I see one, I unload a full magazine, and I get that max, and I escape. As long as you keep escaping with very high HP, you can continue doing this all day. I don't have flares like I mentioned before, so I've got no way of getting away from that lock-on, but I come back in, I get one more max, and I take a look at my HP and I decide this is probably a little bit too low with lock-ons for me to be safe. I'm going to go ahead and get to the teleporter, take advantage of my ejection seat, and get inside and fight on foot as a medic. It's important to remember that since the change to the lattice that we've seen in the past couple GUs, we can't capture every outlier, and in this instance, we only have one outlier, which means that there's only one teleporter inside this whole biolab, and all the NC are going to be camping that or the jump pads. That means that if I go out the side I was just looking where I picked up that kill, I'm almost certainly going to die. Instead, I'm going to try and move past the spawn, which may seem dangerous, but is actually much, much safer. So what I do is I immediately leave and get to safety, which is these bushes. If I start getting shot, and I will here in just a second, I'm going to continue moving as fast as possible and just try and dodge a little bit left to right until I round that corner where I feel safe. It's very important that I don't stop at any of these points until I've rounded this corner where I feel much safer. I can start working a back rage and I can start working a harass inside this biolab. Like I just said, there are three places where NC is going to be inside this biolab right now. There are the two air pads, and there's the teleporter. So I know that if I move over to this air pad, I'm almost certain to find some NC that I can back rage just like that. I pick up the 2 kills and start moving away from the jump pad where enemies might be coming back to me, but I see a max. Maxes are scary, so I go ahead and run. Now I pull out the commissioner for a brief moment there because I really like to use that commissioner when I'm on the move. It's easier for me to take a jump shot into a crouch, and it doesn't slow me down as much as trying to ADS with my tar. As soon as I realize that I'm not going to be shooting anymore, I pull the tar back out and I keep moving. As I cross this bridge, I look towards the spawn and hope to see someone. As it turns out, not only do I see someone, I see an AFK person, so I pick off that kill, and then I'm going to move over here onto the balcony. If you guys have your volume up, you can hear that this max has been chasing me for the entire fight, so I can't stand still. I'm going to take another look out this direction towards spawn and see if there are any more free kills. On my way there, I see that infiltrator and I pick him off. I look down, there's another guy who's doing something, I'm not quite sure what. I grab those kills, and then because the max is coming, it's time to run. Now the reason I'm not engaging this max yet is I don't know exactly where he's at. If I toss my C4 down somewhere, I need to be in a position where I can blow it up easily and take cover. My favorite place to do that is through this door here. He's either going to move to the other direction where he won't see me, or he's going to come through here and he's going to get hit by my C4. He comes through the first door, I blow that C4, I don't get him, I blow a second C4 which exploded right on his face, it doesn't kill him, and right now that's just one of the annoying bugs in the game where you occasionally get glitched C4, but that's how you actually do want to handle a max in that scenario. I did my first push in here as a medic, but I don't think that I'm going to be able to make it the direction that I like to go with my medic safely again because of the number of maxes in this biolab. So instead I come back as a light assault, and I'm going to try and find an angle that I can create that's very different to go about this biolab. Now I fly up, not to escape, but to look and see what's there and see if it's safe. I see a max with what I believe is an engineer in there, and I decide, alright, I shouldn't go up that way, so I'm going to peek the left corner of this building. When I peek the left corner, I see 2 light assaults that have to die before I can push that direction. I get the kills on them, and then I'm going to get ready to try and go. Unfortunately, I see another max camping that direction, so I'm going to go back and hide and see if I can find another angle out. As I try to go this way, I see that there's yet another max guarding that path, so I fall back behind this spawn shield, and I try and decide what I'm going to do. With maxes camping literally every direction, I decide to take one more peek out to my left, and I don't see that max anymore. I do see one more infantry, I get the kill, and I'm going to go back and I'm going to take a reload. Now, while this path looks open, I need to move quickly. So I jump up, I fly on top of these rocks, and instead of looking for that max, I'm just going to try and run away and get to safety. The safest place where I can probably get to, because remember, in this biolab we know that the NC are going to be in 3 places, is over here in the middle, away from the direction that they're going to be looking. I fly up to what we call SCU Tower, and I'm going to start looking for where I believe the NC are going to be. On top of A Point Building is a place where you see a lot of NC. Coming out of the spawn is a place where I might see them, and I don't actually see anyone, so I'm going to keep moving. I know that there are some people over here because I can hear the shots, but I don't see them. I decide to keep looking, I turn down, and I see a guy in one of those really common camping spots. As it turns out, there's another light assault who's pushing behind me, and I pick up that kill. I'm caught here in the middle of a reload, so I can't do anything about that final guy shooting me, and I unfortunately give up a little bit too much ground there. I really don't like going back right to where I started, so I try and make a push back up to the rocks, but I get pushed off again back to where we started with this light assault push. I don't hear very much gunfire, so I feel safe making a push back as soon as I have my armor back. I come up on top of A Point Building again. I pull up my Commissioner because I really like the Commissioner over the Jaguar for those moving gunfights, and I start looking where I think the NC are going to be. I assume there will be some camping there, and as it turns out, there's one. I assume that there's going to be some NC over there at the spawn, although I don't see any, so I just start moving around on top of A Building looking for where the NC might be. I turn back to where I saw him before, and I do see a few there. I don't want to stop and get back rage, so I toss a grenade down on them and end up picking up a kill. Now, it would have been very easy to push that, but I know that the NC are going to be pushing behind me, so I have to fight a battle on 2 fronts, which is very, very difficult. Whenever possible, I want my enemy to be facing the opposite direction of me, and I want no one to be able to come from behind. At the very least, I should be fighting them face to face with no one able to get behind me. I see a max. I move back on top of him, so I'm not going to bother shooting him. I don't want his light assault friends to come find me. I turn back to the spawn and see 4 people coming out. Now that's a little bit of a mistake in target acquisition there. I shoot a guy who's running instead of the guy who might be shooting me, and I end up dying because of it. I could have survived that scenario if instead of trying to fly away, I had just taken a med pack and stabbed myself with it, but a couple little mistakes there end up costing me that kill spree. When I respawn, I see that we're actually losing our outliers. Since this is the only lattice connection we have to the biolab, as long as they have this flipped and it's capping, we won't be able to do anything in the biolab. We're outnumbered here, so I decide to pull a Marauder and make a little bit of a blunder here. I park my Marauder too close to the point so that I can't actually get in past it. That means that I'm going to have to back out and try and set up a different angle where I can push in. I do toss a revive grenade in there, hoping to get a few people up, and then accidentally run a guy over. So, if you're watching this video, whoever I just ran over, sorry, it wasn't intentional, and I couldn't get you back up because there are too many maxes there. I pull my Harasser out just a little bit so I can look for those maxes and start shelling them. I get a few hits on him, but I'm not able to get that kill, and he goes inside. Now, I don't like that angle because that's the side that they're going to come down from the jump pads. So I'm going to try and assault from the left side and clear as much of that room as possible. The first angle I need to hit is splashing that door. So I put a full magazine in and splash the entrance and try and bunch all of them up into a corner of the room. Once I've done that, I pull ahead and I look in and I start splashing a new angle. This angle is going to get almost all the kills, which means I'm going to jump out, I'm going to look in, and as I turn, I see that I didn't actually get that max. I put a couple shots into him, let him know I'm there, and then I'm going to move my Harasser around to the other side. I'm hoping that he's going to stay in that corner where I can get this Marauder on him and kill him, and then, once I've done that, I can move in and hold that point as infantry. I roll up, I don't quite go far enough, so I get back into my gun. I see that max there, and even though he's got that shield up, I know that I can actually hit him with my Marauder. Once I'm on the point, it becomes a matter of holding this as infantry. I know that more than likely they're going to come from my left, but I need to keep watching my right because it's where I'm most exposed. Once I have a few friendly infantry in here, I feel safe. I go for a revive on that guy, but somebody's already on him. I back my Harasser out, and I'm going to start another assault on the biolab and do exactly what I did before all over again. That's going to do it for this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it, and I think there are a couple things that you can take away from it. First, even though in most of my solo pub tutorials you see me play all medic, or all harasser, or all light assault, or something like that throughout the entire video, different situations actually call for different things. It's perfectly acceptable and oftentimes encouraged to go in as a medic for one life, realize that a light assault's going to be effective, and then go harasser for the next life when you're completely overwhelmed. The second thing that I think you can take away from this video is when you're in a biolab or on any point, know where the enemy is likely to be and try and be where they aren't. That way you can get set up behind them, you can get those easy kills, and you can see that KDR go up, up, and up. Like always, if you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe on YouTube, and you can follow me on Twitter at Zoidbergenstein to keep up to date on what's going on with NUC and MLG and which videos I have coming out in the near future. Also, if you haven't played Planetside 2 before, be sure to use that recruiter code down there in the comments. It'll get you an awesome welcome package and help me get closer to my max Luma fiber. Thank you guys, and I'll see you in the next solo pub tutorial.